All right, Robbie, before you get out of here, let the folks know, you gave your quick outtakes with the Wizards Roundtable, but let the folks know, what you thought about this Super Bowl. We talked about it offline after extensively, but, you know, let the folks know what your interpretation of this Patriots victory over the Rams for Tom Brady's sixth Super Bowl ring and submitting himself as the greatest of all time in my book.
Yeah, and so I was just giving him some accolades in the Wizards segment just before we went to break. But, yeah, I mean, there's no doubt he's the greatest. There's no doubt that Tom Brady, is wonderful, whether he would have been as great without having a wonderful head coach and having the consistency and being able to play with each other. A coach and a quarterback for so long. It's almost unheard of in today's sports world. It's almost equated to like a Tim Duncan with Popovich, and there's been very few, but often very successful. And I thought the Patriots did a really good game defensively. I just found it to be extremely boring, and I didn't like that there was such a low-scoring first half. I didn't like that there was such a low-scoring third quarter, and I didn't like that the only scoring happened at the very end of the game. And 13-3 doesn't even necessarily do it justice. It looks like there was more scoring than there actually was, and I don't know. I didn't find the commercials to be particularly exciting. I liked Maroon 5, but it seems like everybody else hated them. And I liked Big Boy, and I liked Travis Scott. But the halftime show is the best part of the whole thing, and that's disappointing because I'm a big football fan. But, overall, congratulations to the Patriots. And obviously, I feel bad that the Rams were unable to show up. And I was rooting for McVay, but obviously it didn't happen. But I look forward to hearing how you guys break it all down.
All right, no doubt. Appreciate that. Yeah, you have the sentiment of most folks that watched the Super Bowl yesterday. DujunneaB, how you doing tonight? We haven't had a chance. Normally we talk after the games, so I'm not sure what your take is. So I'm going to sit back and get your breakdown of this Super Bowl 53 and see what you thought about this game.
I think it's fantastic football. I'll address a lot of the people who said it was boring. If it was boring, but you sat there and you watched it the entire time, if it was that boring, you should have turned it off. That's all I gotta say. You gotta really get down to the nitty gritty with this game. Defensively, man, I thought the defensive coaches and the strategy of those two teams defensively did an amazing job of just stifling the offense. And I felt really for most of the game, both offensive coordinators just seemed to kind of play it safe a little bit. Scared to turn the ball over, and it was that kind of game where it was really key about the field position, and it was definitely going to come down to one or the other. Someone was going to make a play and make a heroic play, a play that had to be made. And it was going to come down to two big guys to make a decent play to put them in a good scoring position, or you were going to turn the ball over and give the offense an easy field position and the potential to be able to score a touchdown or field goal that would have led to pretty much killing any hopes of either team had to win this ball game. I just thought that defensively they did an excellent job. Both coaches really understood the workings of each team's offense. And offensively, they did what they could, but I mean, I felt like I think the offensive coordinators played it safe, and the time that the Patriots reached to try to make something happen, they ended up getting in the red zone for the first time and getting the only touchdown of the game. So, and that touchdown, or that play to set up that touchdown, was an incredible throw. I know people say that Gronk was covered by two, but he was definitely closely covered by three. The safety was right there. If that ball is thrown not perfectly, it's picked off by the corners, or the safety runs over and takes that ball away from Gronk. So it was an amazing pass, and then of course the way they have been running the football throughout the game, pretty much put them in position to be able to score that touchdown. So I just thought, the strategies, it just came down to who's going to give up that big play, and that's what happened, man. But overall, a very good game, and something we haven't seen in a long time. I grew up in the era, the 90s and late 80s of defensive football, and, sometimes you just have to grind it out and get wins, and maybe sometimes at the end of the game, things blow open, but, most of the time it's a defensive, it's a strategy game, and, this is what we got this time. I don't think you can argue.
Yeah, to me, it was a beautiful game also. Just the strategy, as you mentioned, the chess match between the offenses and defenses. My man Matt Harris was going on, said Wade Phillips is a genius. I really can't agree with that statement, but he coached a hell of a game against the Patriots, holding in the. Yeah, he did a good job holding in the 13. The Patriots are the Patriots. They were running the ball well, which isn't a trait of their normal offense. And, Tom started out a little rocky with the interception and, going down, and the kicker missing the field goal. So they faced some adversity in this game. But as I mentioned in some of the storylines on the Wednesday night show, it was classic, old guard versus the new kid on the block. You got Belichick, the, defensive guru that's been there, done that, going against Sean McVay, up and coming, youngest coach to ever win a playoff game and make it to the Super Bowl. And then you got, Tom Brady, Mr. 5 rings, perennial, Hall of Famer, Jared Goff, third-year quarterback trying to make a name for himself. So it was so many interesting storylines that I knew it was going to be a good game. And, if you love football, you love X's and O's, then you had to appreciate this game. I was hearing everybody complaining about it. Got into it, I had to expand some folks' minds and let them, look at it that, that's what Belichick does. Against Kansas City, he held them to 0 points in the first half, which no team had done all season. He made Tyreek Hill disappear. So Belichick is in the groove defensively, and once he gets in that zone and he figures things out, I mean, I don't know, and they saw people saying, if the Saints was there, they'd have put them on. I can't say that because the way Belichick has been coaching lately, yeah, I think he would have had something for Drew too.
Bro, look at the last couple of games of the Saints. After the Dallas game, they seem to be a totally different offense. Yep. They were not the same high-flying, light you up 30 points in a blink of an eye offense. Something happened there, and they were never the same after that, even in the playoff games. And I still think with the Belichick 2 weeks, he's going to draw something to take something away that you do well and make you do something else. Again, like I said, McVay decided to play it safe. I thought only thing I would say with McVay is I wish he would have given his quarterback some help because it was clear looking at Goff that this was his first time, and it looked like his first time being in a game of this magnitude. He missed some throws that he could have and should have hit. And then there were things where they were getting a lot of pressure and they didn't do anything to counter that. And again, both offensive coordinators decided to play it safely without turning the football over. I think what got people a little bit, gun shy is when Tom Brady got picked off on that first drive. It was a bad throw. And, it was a bad call. And I guess they didn't realize that those guys could get downhill that corner, and they got there quickly, really quickly. And I think Tom was even surprised at that. But, I think that's what got people kind of gun-shy. But I don't think you can complain about this game. And again, like I said, and I said it last night. It was so boring. You jokers sat there and watched it, and did you want to complain about it? You have control of your remote. Turn it off. If you don't like it, turn it off.
No doubt.
Otherwise, you sat there and watched it. Don't give me that it was boring crap. It obviously wasn't that boring, and you didn't have either that, or you didn't have nothing else better to do. If it was so bad, you could have found something else better to do. But you chose to sit there and watch that.
No doubt.
And no, I don't agree about the halftime, but who cares about halftime? I'm there to watch a football game.
Pretty much. I turned the sound. I put it on the second TV with the sound on once halftime. It just left on the other TV.
I watched the halftime heat. I ain't watching that.
Yeah. Matt Harris chimed in and said Pat's finally wore him out. Love the old school ugly football. Exactly. That's what I got to say. We'll talk about drafting quarterbacks and draft stuff a little bit later on in the off season. We doing a Super Bowl recap, and he asking how come the Rams didn't run Todd more. I think his knee started to act up, and went in there, took that shot at halftime, and came out there running like a, you know, trying to get back together. But CJ Anderson, whatever the dude's name is, he played decent when they did run the ball, but it was just Belichick is just a defensive genius, man, and the way he schemed everything, and he makes young quarterbacks look like they don't belong in the league. That's what he does. That's why I'm surprised that people are shocked that, you know, the Rams' inability to move the ball, because that's what Belichick does to young quarterbacks. He has a great record against young, inexperienced quarterbacks in those pressure-packed situations. It's a beautiful thing to watch as an ex-defensive coach. But going over some of the stats real quick. Go ahead.
I'm not blaming golf that much. You know, I also feel like if they didn't do some of the things they did in the season when they experienced those types of things to, you know, generate a run-like look, you know, such as some of the passing out of the backfield to a CJ, to a Gurley, getting Cooks and guys out in space early, getting the ball out of his hand quickly, trying to do those types of things. And then there's times they had a couple of those drag routes that he just flat out missed. You know, but they didn't do a lot of that, and they tried to run the conventional way. And, you know, like you said, Belichick did an excellent job, and their defense played sound. They played gap sound, and when they made penetration, they made it count, and bottled guys up and didn't allow those guys to break through. So, you know, it was just a good strategy by both defensive coaches, and I thought it was done quite superbly.
I definitely agree. Just to recap the stats, since this is the last game of the 2018-19 season, we got to wait another 6 months for some more football. New England had 22 first downs. The Rams had 14. New England was 3 for 12 on third downs. The Rams were 3 for 13. The Patriots had 154 yards rushing. The Rams had only 62. The Patriots had 253 yards passing. The Rams had 198. Total yards 407 to 260. The Patriots had 4 sacks for 31 yards lost. The Rams had 1 for 9. Both teams threw 1 interception. The Patriots had 5 punts. The Rams had 9. Damn, the Rams had 9 penalties. I didn't even pick up on that. That definitely played a role in the field position and them stunting their. Go ahead.
The hand to the face was huge. Yeah, there was one call I didn't necessarily agree with, and I think it was like a pass interference call. It was something that was weird. It was touchy. But you know, they had some holding calls there that they got dinged for on offense. So yeah, it was unfortunate. I don't think the penalties played. They kept drives alive for them, and they kind of killed some of their drives. But I really just think it came down to, you know, McDaniels unloaded and decided to open it up a little bit on that drive they scored the touchdown on, and Brady made a hell of a throw. And there you go, 7 points. You know, but yeah, it did have 9.
Yeah, it was definitely, like I said, it was a clinic to me of football. You know, you had strategy. It wasn't wide open. It was, you know, teams trying to figure out what to do because the other team was confusing them. And a lot of folks criticize Tony Romo, but he is a hell of a commentator, and he was breaking down that, you know, with Brady. Say that again. Yeah, he is. I mean, I was listening to him, and he breaks it down, and I wonder why he couldn't do that on the field as well as he does it in the booth. But, you know, that's another story for another day. Yeah, exactly. But he was definitely showing that, like you said, Brady, the way Phillips was confusing the max pressure, the zone pressure, and he wasn't letting them see anything pre-snap, how they have the linebacker come up to allow Sue and Donald to get one-on-one because they thought pressure was coming. You saw the strategy of the game, but then you saw the counter by what, you know, the Patriots were doing. You know, they love to throw to the running back out the backfield, but they stuck to running the ball. And sometimes they were leaving Donald unblocked for the fullback to get blown up by him. But by the time that happened, you know, Michelle, I keep on to say Michael or Michelle. I can't get it right, so I always say both of them. But he definitely played his ass off, and he definitely helped propelled this team throughout the playoffs. I think he said he was averaging 125 yards a game in the playoffs. So I mean, this team is a good team. No matter, you can hate them, you can call them cheaters, you can do whatever you want, but success is success, and you know that's what it comes down to. Matt says he don't think Goff knew how to read coverage. Yeah, it was definitely Matt says he don't think Goff knew how to read coverage. They used 4 or 5 guys pressure, and he was scared. Yeah, he was confusing them where he didn't know who was coming, where they was coming from. He did the same thing against Mahomes, like against the Chiefs, when Mahomes is a pocket guy that can move around, but he was sending blitzes through every different gap that he didn't know where they were coming from, so he could never get comfortable. And once I saw that against Kansas City, the way they were able to shut them down in the first half, I just knew with an inexperienced quarterback and a young coach that Belichick was probably salivating at the mouth the whole time, the 2 weeks planning up to this game.
Yeah, Goff has difficulty. I wouldn't say it was a matter of reading as it was, some of it is just, okay, you see your quarterback struggling in that's where you kind of make an adjustment there to help him out. And there's times where he did read it. He didn't throw a good ball. He didn't throw a good ball at all. Footwork was terrible because again, like you said, Matt, he's feeling the pressure there, and the footwork suffered. When the footwork suffers, everything above the hips suffer. And you saw that. He missing throws. He had one down the sideline that he very well could have hit. Cooks missed that. He had another one deep that was sure probably runs in for a touchdown if he leads them. It's short. It's a jump ball. They lose that battle. So there are a lot of things that I'm sure he'd like to have back. And again, like I said, he definitely looked like a kid that this was definitely his first time, and it's expected to be nerves, but they didn't do some of the things that he does well to kind of help settle him down, get him into a rhythm, and try to get him into a rhythm to open up some of the things that they like to do with their passing offense. And I don't think they did a lot of what you saw against the Saints. And you didn't see a lot of those things that they did in those games against them. There was a lot of dropping back, a lot of 6- and 7-step drops, and when the way the Patriots defense has played all year, especially in the playoffs, they've been in attack mode. And again, when you have that, if you're going to do that and give him a stationary target, well, Belichick is just like, well, thanks, because I don't have to scheme for any type of trickery or any type of misdirection with your receivers, tight ends, or running back. And they're going to have a meeting at the quarterback. They're going to find a way to get there, and they did.
Yeah, I kind of think Sean McVay had a Jay Gruden moment where he went away with what normally works and tried to get fancy and switch things up, outthinking himself this time, because like you said, they've been in this position before, and they were able to, get around it or find ways to scheme around whatever they were taking away. But I just felt like, it was going to be this way because Brady, and you can't go against Brady in the hoodie. You just can't. I mean, everybody wants to, but until I see it done, consistently, I can't say that they aren't going to do it again. And with the fact that Brady says he doesn't want to retire till he's 45, I'm like, okay, that's a bold statement. He 42 now, so he's talking about playing for 3 more years. I can see him winning 2 out of 3, man.
I mean, it's definitely possible. I mean, now that they have their, the amazing thing about this run is that each win they've done it a different way. And this time they've done it in the most unconventional Patriot way, and that's running the football. I mean, and not too many of their guys that you're going to have to say a running back going to have 94 yards of rushing. I mean, and that was their mainstay during that game. That led to a lot of success. That opened up that pass, that seam route, and I mean, tight seam route to Gronk to get it inside the 2 was because they had success running the football. And honestly, if they don't get away from that, and on that first drop, I really thought the Patriots were going to go straight down the field and score a touchdown, just like they did against Kansas City. They got away from that. They decided to throw a screen. And, I don't know what they were trying to do there, whether they're trying to catch them off guard for a chunk play, and it backfired. And it stifled that drive. But they were on a good drive then, and they were just running the football. And they were clearly winning at the line of scrimmage. I mean, it was very clear that the Patriots offense offensive line was dominating the Rams defensive line. They weren't getting any push on that drive. So that kind of changed the tide for them. And we may be talking about a different game if it gets out of hand. If it gets to 7-0 right out of the gate on the first drive, we all know what that does. It puts pressure, especially on a young team. It's going to put it may not be seen that way, but there's going to be pressure there because now they've just gone out and got 7, and you feel like you have to respond with something because it can get out of hand for you quickly because this team's been here and done that. So, it's really, really interesting how they've done that, and I can see that, especially with the running game with Sonny Michel now. You got Burkhead back there, 1-2 combo. They're protecting Brady very well, and they just seem to keep plugging guys in. No names, guys, again, I don't think anybody before, and still after yesterday, can name anybody on either front of that Patriots offensive line and defensive line by name. So unless you're a Patriots fan, you don't count. It's like, they could legitimately still do this again because their division isn't hard again. They got 6 wins.
Yeah, I was having that discussion about, like I said, about Joe Montana earlier today. We always end up talking about the same stuff, and folks keep on throwing that out there. But hopefully the AFC East gets tougher, gets better. All we can do is hope. But if not, then we're going to see the Patriots walking into the playoffs again.
Yeah, unfortunately, but like you said, you really can't. I think people should, I know it's hard for certain fans, especially in their division. It's hard for Redskins fans as well, with the things that have gone on in the mediocre seasons they've had. Really, if you're a football fan at heart, you really should appreciate what you've been able to see over the last couple of years. We've witnessed history, and maybe guys like us, been able to see stuff like Michael Jordan. We got a chance to see some of the things with the Cowboys. But something of this magnitude, we're likely to never see somebody like Brady do what he's done throughout his career. It just doesn't happen in the free agency era unless you were born, in the early 80s. You don't remember guys sticking around that long with teams for the longevity of their career, as many years as Brady started and will end here. That's very rare in this league, in today's league, free agency. Just appreciate the history because we're witnessing greatness. And you may hate it, but the guy has been impressive throughout his career. The 199th pick. Those guys are usually someone's backup or third string guy in early years, early 2000 years when you kept 3 quarterbacks. He's won 6 Super Bowls. He's been to 9. That's just insane. And he's done it only having 1 star wide receiver in Randy Moss. Outside of that, like everybody else has been an Edelman, it's been a Wes Welker. He hasn't had a plethora of guys like some of these other teams and guys who've won Super Bowls. It's amazing what they've done with, I don't know, you guess you could say average, but they're lunch pail guys, and they do it the old school way, bringing your lunch pail to work, going to work, grinding, and they grind their way to Super Bowls continuously, at least the playoff appearances every year.
Yeah, they have a formula that works, and they stick to it. They don't deviate from it. They have a plan and a strategy, and that's the formula to win in the NFL. And don't deviate from it. Don't cave to the fan pressure. Don't even care what the fans say. Just go out there and do what you're supposed to do. Stick to your plan and execute. And that's what Belichick and the Patriots organization does. You can hate them all you want, but they're sticking with the formula. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So why am I going to change up? So, it's just, I'm not a Patriots fan. I just like good football and like to see things ran the way it should be. All these other franchises are trying to get to where they are by doing things differently, but why do it differently if you see it's working for them and apply it with your team? That's what I'm hoping the Redskins can do and get some stability and try to, move forward and not fold to the pressure of whatever. And, don't care what the media say. Don't care what the fans say. You do what you need to do to make the team better and win. And hopefully, I don't even want to say that again.
You you trust yourself to really? I was thinking the exact same thing. I was going to say that. You know, I don't understand why having somebody hadn't tried to bottle this up. It's been a proven formula, but we've seen the success. I don't see how. What do you have to lose to try to do it that way? You know, they don't put up with crap. They don't put up with back talkers and lip. People want to give lip. Hey, man, you don't want to be here? Fine. Get the bricks and go somewhere else. And they find someone else to do your job and do it well. You know, they play team ball, and they have a mantra. They have a thing that they live by, and you know, everybody buys into that. So I don't understand why other teams haven't figured that out and bottled that up and at least tried it. I mean, what is it going to hurt to try? I mean, you know, especially if you're beating your head against the wall, doing the exact same thing and have epically failed. And that's the least thing you can do now is to try what has been proven and tried and proven over and over and over and over again. You know, aside from the fact that their division hasn't been the greatest. I mean, they still got to go out and win other games to get to where they need to get to. So, you know, I agree with you 100%. At some point, somebody's got to say, hey, maybe we should look into trying that way and seeing if we can duplicate it. And maybe not perfectly, but, you know, to some degree, and maybe get a measure of success out of it.
I agree totally. Well, you got about 8 minutes to the top of the hour. Since this is the last official NFL wrap-up of the season, we're going to definitely get into some off-season talk. I know you're watching the draft stuff closely, so we definitely get you pick your brain on some of the draft stuff when it's time, because we know everybody's going to be interested. We already started talking about quarterbacks and the Redskins position, so let the folks know what you're working on now since the NFL season over. I know you got NHRA coming up probably and some draft stuff going on. What you got coming up in the works, man?
Yeah, just still watching tape and looking at draft picks, especially Redskins needs, but I'm spending a lot of time just looking at where guys fit at and who could benefit, especially here in the NFC South, AFC South area. We're looking at some things for the Redskins as well. But, yeah, this is time to be watching tape and looking at different guys and evaluating and seeing what they can bring to the Redskins and to other teams. NHRA starts this weekend, and, you know, football's not over, guys. I would recommend checking out the Football Alliance of America. You know, it seems like it's going to be a good league. Looking at some of the things and their rules and how they're going about business, I think it's going to be a league that will tide you over for the next couple of months and give you your football fix. And I think it'll be a solid product. I think they're going about it the right way. You have some really good guys in Polian and Eversol that are involved in this, and they have guys like Troy Polamalu and others that are involved in putting this thing together. And I think it'll be a good product. But, yep, this is just evaluation time, and then as we get to, you know, league meetings and all that good stuff, it'll be closer to more draft talk and all that good stuff. So, it never stops, man. Not for us. This is where you earn your money in the off season. It's easy to do it during the season, but this is where we earn our money, doing things to provide you guys with some insight on what the team might be able to do in the draft and where they may go.
No doubt, brother. No doubt. Yeah, I can't wait till we get some of that NFL draft talks. I know we always break it down good and see what's going to go down with the Redskins coming up next season. But let the folks know where they can find you before I let you get up out of here and we roll for the night.
SportsJourney.com. That's where all the work is. You can hit me up. Not playing 21 on everything. Twitter and Instagram is probably the easiest way. I do try to respond as best I can on Facebook, but Twitter and Instagram is probably the best to respond, and I love talking shop with you guys.
All right, man. Appreciate it as always. I'll let you get back to watching some tape. I'm about to watch some more hockey and see what else I can find to watch. But as always, appreciate your time, and you have a good night, and I'll holler at you later on, bro.
You too, man. Thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it.
All right, take it easy. All right, on that note, I'm getting ready to end this Facebook Live feed now. Appreciate everybody tuning in, chiming in with your comments and questions. What's up, Alan? Appreciate it, cuz. Yeah, we still doing our thing. Sports on the Hill podcast, True Radio Network, every Monday night, 7 to 9, sometimes a little bit longer. But football season is over. You know, we've been hitting it hard for most of the, football season, so we can take a deep breath now, one sport off of the agenda. But baseball season is right around the corner, so you know we're going to pick that up with Nats coverage like no other. So, as always, appreciated. CP3 live from the lab, ending this Facebook Live feed. And on that note, get